Hey there, it's Angela, and I'm so glad you found your way here to architecting. Creative careers can be stressful, and it's hard to be vulnerable, but this is your landing pad for raw honesty. I'll help you get clarity, reconnect with your passion, and have the career of your dreams. If you're ready to make a difference, have an impact, and say bye-bye to burnout, stick with me, and let's get architecting. Hey bright lights, welcome to Architecting. If you're new here, my name is Angela and I am your personal mentor in this online community to help guide you through the overwhelm, the stress, the burnout, all the things that keep you from having the life you love, having success on your terms, and really making a difference through the work you do as a creative professional. Today, I am exploring a topic that I encountered a lot a couple of weeks ago when I did a back-to-back turbo conference expedition, not on purpose, but as you'll see in this conversation, I really don't believe there are any accidents in life. So I started off in Indianapolis at the Healthcare Design Conference, where I networked with a lot of great colleagues who I love seeing and love working with, got to meet some new people. But I also had this experience of multiple people coming up to me saying, I love your podcast. I really enjoy the episodes and talking about what it meant to them. And that meant so much to me because that is the whole purpose of what I'm doing, is to inspire people and help them see how they can make a difference. Then I headed off to Chicago for the Women's Leadership Summit, which is something I've always wanted to go to, but never had the time or ability to do before. But this year, since it was in Chicago and they had expanded the size of the conference so it didn't sell out right away, I thought, let me do it. As it happened, I booked that first and only later realized that this healthcare conference that I go to every year was exceptionally early this year and that the two are actually back to back. But the order of that doesn't surprise me because if I had known that to begin with, I probably wouldn't have signed up for WLS yet again, because I would have said, I just can't take a whole week out of the office. I just can't do back-to-back conferences. But for some reason, I hadn't put the first conference in my calendar and it looked like I had an open schedule. So now I had to do it. And that was for a reason as well. I met so many great new people, got to talk about what I do, not only as a partner at GBBN, but through this online community. And theme that came up over and over again in different forms. Sometimes it came out in presentations, sometimes it just came up in casual conversation, was the idea of imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome? Well, it is essentially a state where you doubt your own abilities, underplay your successes, you don't feel confident in your skills, and more or less, you just don't feel worthy. Even if somebody compliments you or gives you an opportunity, it makes you shrink, makes you want to say no because you are terrified that people are going to see you as a fraud, that whatever they think that's positive, once they actually get to know you or work with you, the illusion will be dispelled. And especially people early in their career, especially women, especially minorities, are very susceptible to imposter syndrome, because you already feel different from most of your peers. Therefore, you worry about whether you measure up to standards. So if you notice yourself feeling like you're not good enough or being afraid to say yes to an opportunity, this is the episode for you. Because if you are drawn to something, If you get approached with an opportunity, it is absolutely meant for you. Too many times as a coach, I see people waiting, hoping for an opportunity. But instead of going after it, they're too busy worrying about whether or not they are qualified enough. And they're putting their energy into checking boxes on some imaginary to-do list of qualification. I did a whole episode a few years ago called Qualified that was specifically about what it means to endlessly chase a bunch of credentials or accomplishments or skills even, because you will never get there. And if we're going to play the qualified game, we're always going to feel like an imposter. Rather than sitting there putting all of your energy, all of your effort, trying to feel qualified, let's move past all that and just do it anyway. Give yourself permission to do it anyway. When I gave my AIA gold medal acceptance speech, one of the things that I said was, I'm grateful for all the people who gave me grace because I asked forgiveness and not permission. If you wait for circumstances to be perfect, if you wait for someone to notice you, you're going to be waiting a very long time. On the other hand, if you say, I really care about this thing, and I'm going to take a no matter what attitude, you're going to find a way to get it done. Whatever you're doing, however your path opens up, you are going to learn. You are going to get skills. You are going to get experience. That is going to pay dividends for you. Another great experience I had at the conference was hearing our incoming 2025 president, my friend Evelyn Lee, give her speech. She gave a really strong call to the need for all of us, no matter where we are in our career, to be a leader. Being a leader means you have to stand for something. It means you have to be willing to shine and show up and be bold in your actions. And she had this great quote, every setback is a setup for a comeback, meaning that you cannot get it wrong. If you try something and it works, great. If you try something and it doesn't work, you still got value. In the last episode, I talked about how nothing is ever wasted. Rather than view setbacks as your clues that you're doing the wrong thing, view them as the lessons you need to be even more successful going forward. Again, claiming what you want, taking the chance on yourself, believing that what you care about, what you're passionate about is your calling and that you're meant to do this. Imposter syndrome is often characterized by perfectionism, which we all know the perfect is the enemy of the good. Perfectionism is what keeps you from getting things done. It's also trying to be a superhero. Do you feel that you will only be good enough if you take on everything and try to please everybody? Are you letting your energy be drained away, trying to make other people happy so they'll like you or they'll believe you can do something, instead of putting your energy towards getting the things you really want? And therefore, you're always saying, I'm too tired or I don't have time. Are you so burdened by shame and guilt that you just can't cope with taking a chance and not having it go well? Therefore, you never take a chance. This can also show up as denying yourself the win, minimizing what it means that you got something done. And it isn't always the big things, it's the little things. Did you turn things around in that client meeting? Celebrate that. Did you turn in that proposal to speak at a conference? Give yourself credit for that. Did you spend an hour today working on a research project you really want to do? Those are wins. We need to get better at celebrating the steps we take, the forward movement, because the more we do it, the more momentum we have. And the more we do it, the less we're going to struggle with imposter syndrome, because by taking action and building momentum, you're also building your confidence. You're seeing the cumulative effect of your actions, and you're keeping it top of mind. Sometimes, and we've all done it, when we see something that's done, we don't always appreciate what it took to get that thing done and done well. So somebody is minimizing your win, but you have the receipts. You can remind them what it took to get there and not allow your accomplishments to be minimized. Another big issue with imposter syndrome is fearing success. And again, this comes back to the fear of showing up. If I do really well, I'm going to have a spotlight on me, and now my mask is going to be ripped off. Fear of success leads to self-sabotage. So you do the work, you're getting ahead, you're making it, and then in the clutch moment, you mess up. When we have victory in our sights like that, it can be terrifying. And it's really easy to back away at the last minute or to subconsciously do something that will derail. There's almost a sense of relief you feel, even though you were so close to getting something that you really wanted. Because what you wanted isn't normal to how you experience life. It felt scary, and it was easier to go back to your comfort zone, even though you claim not to be happy there. Breaks my heart when I hear people talk about imposter syndrome, because the truth is, you care about the things you care about because you're here for a reason. Every single one of us on this earth has a purpose. You are unique, you are special because you're here to make a difference. You absolutely have something to contribute. And you have something to contribute not when you are 50 plus, but today, wherever you are in your career. Don't get caught up comparing yourself to someone else and saying, well, they are far more experienced, far more talented, or successful, or known for what they do. I can't possibly have anything to add. That person may be at the graduate level of doing things, right? The 601 level. But not everybody's ready for the 601 level. Some people need the 201 class or the 101 class. That's where you come in. I've noticed myself, I do not do anywhere near as good of a job of working with the co-ops that we hire who are still in school as the people who are maybe 5 years out, 10 years out from graduation. They can relate to the skill set of the co-op. They can relate to how the co-op is going to process things and understand things. They can delegate things that are appropriate tasks in a way that I never could because I am way too far past the point of being able to relate to somebody who's a co-op. It's far more effective for me at this point in my career to delegate to my early career staff, who then can delegate to the co-ops and do it far more effectively than I ever could. That's why it's so important that you share what you know. You can be authentic about it. You don't have to sit there and say, I am the ultimate authority on this topic. You can say, I've learned something about this topic and I want to share what I've learned. Or, hey, after immersing myself in this topic, I came up with this insight. Isn't this a kind of cool thing? Or I'd like to develop this issue more and have a real point of view on it. When you can do that, you are not getting caught up in the need to be perfect or fear of being unmasked as a fraud, and you don't have to worry about failing because you're coming from the place where you are. You are representing what you're doing at the level that you are doing it. Therefore, you are setting expectations, but you're also taking action. You're not holding yourself back. You're not numbing out on the things that really matter to you in your career. When I talk about success on your own terms, this is exactly what I mean. You don't need to look at other people and say how they did it is how I must do it. You need to be in touch with what resonates with you, what issues you care about. Putting effort into learning more about those give you energy instead of taking it away. Sharing what you know about those things will feel a lot less intimidating because now you can make it about the issue. I always encourage people to go back and listen to the interview I did with Christina Vernon Sanborn. Christina was a healthcare architect early in her career who developed a passion for sustainability. And this was about 20 years ago in the infancy of the LEED criterion coming out. And she had an opportunity to go and work for one of her clients, the Cleveland Clinic, as an architect in their planning and design department. And she continued to talk about sustainability, to advocate for it, and wasn't getting much traction until the CEO happened to see the movie An Inconvenient Truth and came back to work on that next Monday and called in his staff and said, you know, this is a really big deal. Climate change is a problem. Sustainability is something that an organization that is world-class like ours should be talking about. What are we doing about this issue? And of course, nothing, because it hadn't been something on the radar of the seasoned, experienced people. But you know what? They remembered Christina and they said, there's this woman who won't shut up about this. Let's go talk to her. And as Christina had said to me, every no is a not yet. She didn't care whether she was getting traction. She kept pushing it as an issue. She kept putting it out there. And ultimately, it paid off. And she was given a new title and a new position to basically create from the ground up a major program focused on sustainability and resilience. So you can see how you can take what you love, how you can give yourself permission to keep developing your knowledge and your point of view, and how you talk about it from the place where you are. And that will continue to evolve, and you will eventually be an expert. You will eventually have a point of view. You will draw to you people who have that similar point of view, and you will begin to make an impact without having to worry about, am I qualified? Just be guided by what you really care about, and you will find that it's a lot easier to stay comfortable with the issue, how you can be led by the cause instead of worrying about things like, am I saying it right or doing it right? When you make it about the cause, it's not about you, and that takes a lot of the pressure off. So I hope this helped. I hope I've given you some inspiration to move past your own imposter syndrome and to really feel comfortable showing up from where you are, knowing that someone needs to hear what you have to say from the place in your career at which you are saying it. You are inspiring someone just by being yourself. Share your thoughts with me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I love hearing from you. And don't forget to rate, and review the podcast wherever you are listening, and tell a friend. Be part of the movement that makes a difference for others. This is your first assignment to get away from imposter syndrome. All right, everyone, take care. Love you so much. Thanks for listening. If you want even more content, head on over to architectingpodcast.com and subscribe to my newsletter and get some great free downloads while you're there. Be sure to follow me on social media. On Instagram at Architecting Podcast, Facebook and LinkedIn pages are Architecting, and the YouTube channel Architecting Podcast. Stay inspired.